you, I think you're about to make off without payment, and if I don't arrest you, then you will make off without payment. So there's my grounds.
Well, I'm offering to make
Can you
payment.
come out of the car, please?
Yeah,
sir?
Buckle up, guys. Today we're diving into a case that flips the script on everyday policing. What starts as a simple payment at a Tesco petrol station turns into a courtroom battle over a 100-pound Royal Mint coin. The officer steps in, but instead of upholding the law, he leans on his own interpretation, setting the stage for a clash that exposes just how fragile authority looks when challenged by knowledge and persistence.
What's going to happen? Okay, so you've done your bit checking on legislation, I've just checked on my legislation. As I said to you, the shop does not have to accept it just because it is legal tender. You said it's legal tender, you are correct, however it is a commemorative coin. On the internet they're worth about 20 quid.
Well,
right, so here is what is going to happen. Either you are going to pay for your fuel correctly, or you are going to fill out their civil recovery form so that you can arrange to make payment at a later date, or I'm going to arrest you for bilking.
What's bilking?
Bilking, making off without payment. You've got to the point where payment is due, you're now refusing to make payment, therefore I will treat it as a criminal offence. So how would you wish to proceed at this point?
Well, I have got means to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not going to fill out a civil recovery form.
Okay, right, so what's the means that
what was the option 2?
So option 1 is either you pay, option 2 is you fill out the form, option 3 is that you get arrested.
Well, pay.
No, you pay with legal tender that they will accept.
That is legal tender.
No, they don't have,
But if this is a £50 note and he said, oh look, we don't accept £50 notes because there's lots of forgeries.
Exactly.
Would you be doing exactly the same thing now?
Yes. So if you go into a corner shop and try and pay for a penny chew with a £50 note, they are perfectly within their rights to refuse that sale.
All right, guys, here's where it heats up. The sergeant presents 3 options. Pay the way Tesco wants, fill out a civil form, or face arrest. But the auditor calmly insists the coin is legal tender. The tension here is electric because the officer equates refusal with dishonesty, ignoring the clear legal position. We're watching the moment where misunderstanding of the law snowballs into a misuse of power, and the stakes suddenly rise.
This is different because...
No, it's not different.
No, it is.
You have offered a form of payment that they will not accept. The principle is exactly the same.
Well, if you arrest me, it'll be a wrongful arrest.
Yeah? It's not. It's a lawful arrest because I've explained the situation and I've explained that I believe you're doing this for
Are you a
dishonest
sergeant
reason.
or an officer?
I am a sergeant.
Right.
Okay? So, my point is also that coin is not worth the face value of it. It's not legal tender in such a way that this shop has to accept it as being valued at £100.
Okay, so it has... Hang on.
Short of the mark.
No, I'm not. So it is got a face value of £100, so it is worth £100.
It's not.
Well, you say that, but the Bank of England, the House of Commons, the state, all the institutions that came before you say it is, right? But you say it isn't, right? Now you say it's only worth whatever you say it was. Interestingly, I don't know if you've looked at the price of silver, but that's probably worth about £48 in silver. Hang on, I haven't finished yet. So that's £48 in silver.
Yeah.
Whereas, how much is a £20 note or a £50 note worth in plastic? What, a penny or 2?
This is where the sergeant's credibility unravels. When the auditor points out the coin's face value of £100, the officer dismisses it as just commemorative. But that's not how currency law works. A Royal Mint coin carries authority whether in circulation or not. The auditor's calm reasoning cuts straight through, showing the officer isn't just mistaken. He's undermining the very system he's sworn to uphold. The clash of principle versus ego is on full display.
Do you want to check to make sure it's not an unlawful arrest?
Another unit, please. This chap's about to be arrested.
Will it be an unlawful arrest?
Well, it's not a wrongful arrest.
It would be a wrongful arrest. Well, how can you arrest somebody for refusing to pay when they're offering to pay with a coin of the realm?
Because you're not offering to pay with payment that they can accept or will accept or have to accept. No.
Now, interestingly, you said that you've done some research on this and I've done this before.
Yeah.
Well, what was the outcome of it last time?
It was no further action.
Why was that then?
I don't know.
Well, how come you've got a record of that?
I'm about to let you drive off from here.
Well, how come you got a record that I did it last time, but you haven't got a record of the outcome?
Why? Because I haven't got time to look at that right now.
But you have got time to arrest me and deal with all the paperwork that'll be involved in that.
Yep.
So that's just abusing your power, I think,
No,
because
it's
what you're
not.
trying to do
It's
is
using your power proportionally. These people here are trying to run a business, and you are making life extremely difficult by
I'm
being
not.
obstructive in how you're going to pay.
No, I'm not.
Now watch closely. This is where the officer admits he's handled this before, but can't even recall the outcome. Instead of learning, he doubles down, pushing arrest over resolution. The auditor calls it abuse of power, and he's right. The officer says he has no time to check records, but plenty of time to arrest and file paperwork. This isn't about enforcing law anymore. It's about saving face. And that's when authority starts looking reckless.
I'm only here to enforce the law. I'm not here to decide. I just suspect that an offence has taken place. Okay? So I'm not convicting you, and you're refusing, to cooperate with me any further. You're refusing to resolve this situation by giving these people your details. So therefore,
No, I don't, because what you're trying to encourage me to do is not to give them my details, but to fill out a legally binding form. You're actually encouraging me to fill out a legally binding form, right? That would be detrimental to me.
Why? Because you have to pay for your fuel just like everybody else
No.
in this petrol station.
No, because you're forcing me not to use cash. It's exactly the same as
No,
you.
I'm forcing you to provide the legal tender that this business is willing to accept.
But it's not for them to pick and choose. Which
It is,
Which,
absolutely.
No, it's not.
If they will only accept payment in Pokemon cards, that is entirely up to them.
yeah, but they need to state that on the pump. Right,
Yeah.
when I take the fuel, they need
You
to
and
say
I
payment
both know you
only
are
in
trying to pull
Pokemon.
a fast one,
I'm not
don't
trying
you?
to. What do you
Yes,
think?
you are.
What do you think I'm
So-
trying to achieve then out of this?
So
then?
why are you not willing to offer any other sort of payment? Do you have bank cards on you?
Maybe it's a matter of principle. This is a coin of the realm. You shouldn't be threatening to arrest me because of their preference as to what type of note or coin they accept. That's ridiculous.
Here the sergeant pushes hard, saying the auditor is dishonest for not offering other payment. But the auditor cuts him off at the knees with principle. Legal tender should be enough. His restaurant analogy lands like a hammer. Once goods are taken, debts can't be refused if lawful payment is offered. It's a masterclass in logic versus stubborn policing, and every second makes it clear the officer is fighting pride, not crime.
It's not your job, is it, to state what type of coin that Tesco accepts or
No,
not?
but it is my job to make sure that you don't go past the point of payment without making
Well,
payment.
I haven't driven off, have I? I've got every intention of paying with this coin.
No.
If I had no intention, if I was trying to do something dishonest, I'd driven off, wouldn't I? But the fact is, I've waited here for you to come, and I've discussed it with you. I've tried to explain, being very civil, and being rude, have I? In any way, I've got no disrespect for the police whatsoever.
No.
Might go downhill a bit if you arrest me unlawfully.
Okay.
I just think, please just check that it's a lawful arrest. I don't think it is.
I believe it is.
And the whole point of cash and legal tender is that you cannot be successfully prosecuted for non-payment if you've offered legal tender. So if I had Scottish notes, right, now they're not legal tender in the UK, they're not legal tender full stop, but Tesco's actually accept those.
At this point, the contradictions pile up. The officer leans on Bank of England wording, but misses the context. Shops can refuse payment before a sale, not after a debt exists. The auditor exposes the flaw instantly. Legal tender is about discharging debt, and that's exactly what he's doing. But instead of stepping back, the sergeant charges forward, clinging to suspicion alone. It's no longer about law. It's about refusing to admit he's wrong.
There's an invitation to take the fuel, and I've taken the fuel, and now I've got a debt, and I'm offering to pay the debt in legal tender. Now in the store, it's different because I haven't taken the food, have I? In fact, if I'd have eaten the food, I'd be obligated to pay for it, and then it'd be the same scenario, just the same as if you went into a restaurant and had a meal, and then you have to pay afterwards, and you offered to pay in that. Right? They can't lawfully have you prosecuted for failure to pay if you've offered a reasonable means of payment and they've refused to accept it.
Yeah, but you've refused to identify yourself to this person.
Well, I don't need to, do I?
I'm now starting to view your actions as being dishonest.
How have I been dishonest?
I suspect an offence is going to
How have I been dishonest?
because you're refusing to give your information to this gentleman, so that.
But he's not entitled to my information, is he?
He is.
Okay, if I told you what my...
because you have a debt to settle up with him.
This is-
So to go to the restaurant scenario, if you ate your meal and then said, "Oh, I've forgotten my wallet, I've got no means of paying."
Oh, no means paying.
Yeah. Okay. So At that point, you're not being dishonest. At the point that you refuse to identify yourself, or you put Mickey Mouse care of Disney World on a piece of paper and say, here's my details, you're then becoming dishonest.
What about if, like, we went to the restaurant, we had a meal, right, and then I pulled out a £50 note and they said, look, we don't accept £50 notes.
Yeah.
They can't make a decision about refusing to accept the £50 notes when you owe them money. They can only refuse they can only refuse to go through with the transaction in the first place. It's only because you've had the goods and you owe a debt that they can't refuse to accept the money.
And here comes the arrest. The officer openly admits the auditor hasn't offended yet, but claims he might if let go. That's not suspicion. That's speculation. Dragged to custody over a lawful coin, the auditor fights back, wins a £5,000 payout, and proves the officer's arrogance cost more than pride. This wasn't policing. It was ego in uniform. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Right, so these coins are made by the Royal Mint.
Yep, and they are legal tender.
And they are legal tender. Yeah. So how can I be refusing to pay and being dishonest in any way when I'm offering to pay with a coin of the realm, a legal
Because
tender
you've
coin?
offered a form of payment that they are unable or unwilling to accept. Therefore, as I said, the onus is on you to find alternative means. You've failed to do that.
Okay.
And you are now proposing to leave here without actually giving any means of identification so they can arrange at a later date to make payment with you.
Okay.
So therefore, because of that, I suspect that you are about to commit an offence of making off without payment.
See, now I reckon that if you've offered to pay, and I've offered to pay lots of times, got it on video, and right, and they refuse to accept the payment, I can't see how that I've committed a crime, even if I don't pay.
To provide an alternative means of payment or come to an alternative agreement.
So what you're suggesting is that you're going to arrest me based on the opinion of a Tesco staff member,
No,
whereas another member of staff might
based
have
on my suspicion.
Suspicion.
I'm sure with the amount of time this gentleman has spent here, and the fact that other colleagues are aware of the fact that we have been here for half an hour.
Nah, 16 minutes.
I'm sure if he were able to take that coin, he would have done it by now, because he's got plenty of other things to do. You are costing them money by the fact that your car's sat here taking out these two lanes.
Well, I've offered to move it, but he said no.
If they could...
I offered to move it, but he said no.
But if they were willing to take this at any point, they would have done by
now. Don't you think, Ben, right, that the country's biggest retailer would have a simple, basic understanding of coins of the realm and the legal tender situation and what they can do and what they can't do?
Well, they clearly do by the fact that they are not obliged to take it just because it's legal tender.
Because he said so. But how do you know he's right? And how do you know that what he's saying is the opinion of Tesco's as a company as a whole?
It's not that he's right, it's that the Bank of England is right, and it's the Bank of England that states that the shopkeepers are not legally obliged to accept any royal tender. Right,
okay, I understand where you're coming from with that, but that's referring to buying something from a store, not to paying a debt.
Okay, it's still the same,
it's not.
Same situation.
No,
okay.
It's not.
That's fine.
It's actually on the Bank of England website what legal tender is.
Yeah, it is. As I said, I have no argument with you about that at all. Okay, so I'm arresting you on suspicion of making off without payment. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something on which you later will rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand?
Yep.
Okay, so my intention at this time is to take you to Exeter Police Station, where you will be put into custody. The reason for that is for the prompt and effective investigation of the offence and to confirm your identity and your name and address.
Well, it'll be unlawful arrest, won't it?
No, not at all.
Right, where do you want me to park my car
I have
then?
the suspicion that you're about to commit an offence.
Well, what offence am I committing?
I've told you, I think you're about to make off without payment, and if I don't arrest you, then you will make off without payment. So there's my grounds.
Well, I'm offering to make
Can you
payment.
come out of the car, please?
Yeah,
sir?
Okay. There's no use to use violence, is there?
No, well, step out of the car,
let me
please.
just get my affairs together, alright?
Okay. Do you want to provide your details, or are you going to go to custody?
Well, I'll provide my details to you.
Yeah, but do you want to provide them to this man here?
No, but you want me to fill out a legal document.
Yeah.
No, I'm not filling out a legal
Okay,
document.
out of the car then, please, sir.